Kundalini and kind of a spiritual ego. Any tips on how to kind of control that? Maybe that's, also, maybe blocking or blocking or not blocking. I guess it's always, just the path or whatnot. But as I continue to grow in this process, I think I notice, if I'm around other people and I'm feeling extra energetic or I'm feeling, spiritually high or something, maybe I'm around some people and they're cracking their backs or they're sneezing, and it feels like my energy is impacting them, almost like, maybe getting rid of some scars, or I don't know, or maybe they're helping get rid of mine with their clearing as well. I don't really know the difference there, but it kind of reminds me of a story that Ram Dass one time spoke about when he was feeling a similar type of way, and he went in a cafe in India, and everyone was looking at him because I guess he was like glowing, and people were like, "Whoa, he's really out there. He's really feeling the spirit or whatnot." And he kind of said like, "Oh, I enjoyed that feeling." Just kind of tips on either controlling that spiritual ego or just coming to incorporate it into my being.
Great, great. Thank you for sharing. And it's a pretty vulnerable question, but it's not uncommon for us all to experience some spiritual ego, myself included. Um, it can be quite an ego trip to have people show up here to hear what I have to say, right? And so it's not something that I'm exempt from. I don't think anybody's exempt from experiencing that. So that's where we'll begin, is being gentle with ourselves. It's okay. It's okay that this arises. How can it not? You're having some far out experiences, and let's be honest, like, we're advancing to some pretty high states of consciousness, advanced stage of the evolutionary journey of a human being. So like, we can at times give ourselves a little pat on the back and just recognize that. And I think by being okay with it being there, then we can actually work with it. Whereas if we deny it, ignore it, pretend it's not there, or beat ourselves up for having it, then it's very difficult to manage. Then it's like a wild animal. So we make friends with it first. We acknowledge, yeah, it's natural for it to rise. I'm not the devil if it's, I get a little arrogant or think I'm special. It's okay. It's okay. So here it is. This is what's happening. Okay. We all get a little arrogant anyway. You get a new car, you get a new job, you wear a new shirt. If you want people to notice, you think, oh, you get a haircut. Same thing, except it's in a spiritual realm. So it's not unusual per se. The whole, little bit of feeling special and whatnot. As long as we remember to watch, to become aware of this with the witness, and be gentle with it, that's how we'll make sure that we stay in check. To take note of it, getting a little arrogant here, feeling a little special. All you need to really do is just catch it. Just catch it, just watch it. That's it. If we don't catch it, then it runs wild, and it can quite literally, you go on an ego trip, you may, start feeling like you're special and all sorts of things. So just watching it first. From there, recognizing that it's going to come up, and it's coming up to be released in the light of our awareness. So it's good. Let it come up. Let it come up. You can journal about it. You can write about it. You can also then recognize how can we give people back their power if we feel like we have more power than them. So we can recognize everyone's on their own journey. They're exactly where they need to be. I'm where I'm at. Maybe I've had some really far experiences. Maybe I'm enlightened, I'm self-realized, whatever. But they're where they need to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. We are all here on our own journey, all on our own mission. Everyone's going to come from a different place. Nobody's better, ahead, or advanced, behind, etc. It's just we're all in our own place. Ultimately, there's no real hierarchy or anything like that. So we can practice like that. I had an experience on retreat a couple months ago where it's a completely silent retreat. And like people were having some kriyas next to me. And one guy next to me was like, it was his first retreat, and you could tell he was having a bit of a difficult time. And so the ego in me pitied him. And he was sitting next to me eating breakfast. And suddenly his gaze, like, I'm just eating. We're not supposed to look at each other. We're not supposed to like make any gestures. And suddenly he just starts going like just looking at me like that. Like his neck is just like being forced to look at me. And I just have to just keep eating. And in my periphery, I see him just like staring at me, like just trying to pull his head away, but he keeps being drawn to me like a magnet. And I just have to keep eating and pretending like I'm not, like I can't acknowledge this. Is this against the rules? And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I hope that this guy knows what Kundalini is. Because at this retreat center, they don't talk about it. And I hope this guy can figure it out. And he's sitting next to me. I'm, Brent Spirit, the Kundalini guy. If I could just tell him about my YouTube channel, I could help him. I had all this stuff coming up. And this is what comes up on retreats, like any little thing will make your head spin and have all sorts of thoughts and narratives coming up. So the ego came out in me. Like he needs me and I can't help him. And I'm the guy who's supposed to help him. And my energy is causing him to have these kriyas because my energy is so radiant and so, I'm so powerfully transmitting the energy. But I couldn't say anything. And so I was forced to just sit with those feelings, those thoughts, those projections, and just let it go. And recognize, like I said to you, his journey is his journey. He's where he needs to be. He doesn't need my help. It has nothing to do with me, really. And even if it did, I can't acknowledge it, and we're just gonna go our separate ways. So it doesn't mean anything. I can't do anything about it. So that's one way that the spiritual ego gets sort of burned up. Just shut your mouth, and you can't do anything about it anyway. Just be quiet. People are having kriyas around you. Okay, you don't have to say anything. Just pretend like it's not happening, and that can be a bit of your practice in order to burn up your own sort of feelings of being special and whatnot. And then later on, maybe when that part has been integrated and burned up and processed, then people will come around you and they'll approach you and say, hey, I looked you in the eyes and I got this huge jolt. What the heck was that about? And because you're now in a place of more integrated humility, you can support them in a direct way without going on a power trip about it. So I hope that can help. It's some things that are coming to me to share with you, but not unusual, nothing to beat ourselves up about. We just witness it, we watch it, acknowledge it, and eventually in time those parts of us will get integrated. But hey, now and then it may still come up. It's not the end of the world as long as we keep it in check and don't go on becoming like some sort of cult leader or something, right?